on people in terms of your kids can't come to school. And as Joe Jennings just pointed out, hey, if your kids are truant, they're eventually going to come after you and put you in jail if you don't get these kids vaccinated. That's the ultimate leverage that they've got. Or going to poor families that are on welfare and saying, we're going to withhold your welfare payments unless you do this. Or blackmailing hospitals and saying that unless you vaccinate all of your staff, you're not going to get Medicaid or Medicare. There's so many ways that they can hold a gun to our head, and I think we really need to focus on the civil liberties aspect. And then we can, once people have established, once we've established and made safe again the right that we have informed consent, then we can have a real discussion about every aspect of vaccines. And I think we do need to have that discussion. Was there anything else you wanted to add to that, Richard?
Yeah, real quick. One thing on that, and then a comment on your issue about free trade. Strategically and politically, I completely agree with what you just said. I just want you and Alex and everyone there to know that behind the scenes that nobody will talk about, I've looked. There's no validity to the basic theory of vaccination, and I know that's taboo to say. But now, the thing about free trade is that the only purpose of the free trade agreements from NAFTA to the higher world agreements is to destroy national sovereignty and national economies to facilitate world government. I see nothing else, and this is a huge red flag with Rand Paul and Ted Cruz.
Yes. I cannot understand why they are supporting that. And as you said, it is a huge red flag. They need to explain to people, and if we have people who are educated on the issue, understand what is really behind this, and we need to talk to them. Maybe, they can give us an answer. Maybe they can explain it to me. I don't know how they justify it, but they need to justify that, because if they don't, all of the rest of this stuff could just be that they are some kind of a libertarian front to try to get somebody's support for this. I think we're not going to fix it by sending somebody to Washington anyway. I think it's going to be done outside. I think Washington is too big, too corrupt. It needs to be shut down from the outside. It needs to be contained. It's like some kind of a cancer that needs to be contained. Thank you, Richard. Let's go to Mark in California. Mark, you said you want to talk about Jade Helm.
Hey, David. Doing a great job, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah, I just got 2 quick points on Jade Helm. First, we know that they're lying to us. Obviously, coming from a veteran, whenever we train for climate specific. We train for terrain specific. So, I mean, if they were going to train for a Middle Eastern engagement, they'd be training in the desert.
Yes, absolutely. And they wouldn't be trying to move, they wouldn't be dressing in American civilian clothing and trying to move undetected amongst the American population. I mean, why would that be a challenge to them? And how would that possibly help them in another country? And of course, we had the video that we put up on InfoWars from someone who went to the dirty bomb drill in Richmond, California, that showed them doing crowd control and having one of the role-playing actors yell, "I'm a sovereign citizen, I don't have to listen to you." And of course, at that point, that was their cue to charge, I guess. So we know from their scenarios, we know from the way that they train and where they train. I mean, what you're talking about there, Mark, is exactly what they had somebody say when they were covering the drills a couple of years ago that they were doing. I think it was in L.A. at the time, and they had a military officer who said exactly what you said. We're going to train in the mountains if we're going to fight in the mountains. We're going to train in the desert if we're going to fight in the desert. So we train the way we're going to fight. And it's like, so why can't people understand that they're training with the police in L.A. to control civil unrest? Why can't they understand that? I mean, I've like I said before, I've been in AP Hill with Biggs. We see how they've been training. We see that they work with the police. There isn't really any difference between a militarized police or using the military as police. I mean, those are both violations of posse comitatus. That's something that everybody needs to be concerned about. Go ahead, Mark.
Also, I sent you a video. Someone got a great video off the I-15 in California. It's on the road out to Vegas, and it's a pretty notorious area right by Barstow. And there is a huge buildup. The name of the video I sent to Show Tips is Jade Helm, huge buildup. But it's a video about 15 minutes, and there's not hundreds, but there are thousands of MRAPs, thousands of Humvees, thousands of APCs, and they're staging. They're being staged for something, and this is not a rapid deployment base at all.
Yes.
I mean, they're being staged for something in California.
Well, you know, and that's my concern. I said this before. I believe that this mad rush to try to get MRAPs and APCs into police departments, even into the smallest, most peaceful rural communities, pushing out all the stops to try to get these in. I think that is advanced placement to try to get these things in those areas. You're talking about something completely different, I understand, but I think even that is a pre-positioning of military assets into these areas. And I think it's very interesting to understand that it was just last summer that they shut down a 60-year-old program to provide that kind of equipment to rural fire departments because they wanted to get it in the hands of people who had arresting capability. That's exactly what they said in the Section 1033 program. They wanted to get it in the hands of people who had arresting power. So they would take it away from the firefighters. Nevertheless, they will tell you that this is there for some kind of a natural emergency or something like that. Simply don't buy it. Just like people don't buy what's going on with Walmart. There's something screwy about these Walmart closures. Everybody knows that they're lying to us. We don't know exactly at this point what the lie is. That's why people are starting to guess about it. But the same thing happens with the government. We know when they're lying to us, and that's when we start doing the investigation. Stay with us. We're going to take more of your calls. We'll be right back.
On the average, Americans work between 45 to 50 years, hoping to build up enough wealth to retire and live out their golden years. Unfortunately, with taxation, the rising cost of food, energy, housing, and medical, many retirees are forced to live below the poverty line. Is this a flaw free enterprise, or is our monetary unit we call the Federal Reserve Note forcing us into perpetual debt, ensuring inflation and higher taxes? These questions and more can be answered by reading G. Edward Griffin's book, The Creature from Jekyll Island. Congressman Ron Paul states it's what every American needs to know about central bank power. A gripping adventure into the secret world of international banking cartel. Hi, this is Ted Anderson. I will give a silver dollar from the early 1900s to anyone who purchases this book. Call 1-800-686-2237 and order a copy today. It's critical that the public be made aware of the system. Call and order your copy today at 1-800-686-2237. That's 1-800-686-2237.
Hi, I'm Alex Jones. When I got on air 20 years ago, I weighed 180 pounds. I lifted weights 5 days a week. I could swim 2-3 miles. Then I discovered the New World Order, the globalists, their agenda. I started an Access television show. I was so dedicated to my work and hanging around with radio guys that I began drinking. I began smoking cigars and then even cigarettes. I transformed from looking like a white Bruce Lee to looking like a Jabba the Hutt. So I began a journey 5 years ago to shed the almost 100 pounds. I started taking Super Male Vitality and saw dramatic results in just a few weeks. When I added to the mix the key products developed by Dr. Group for InfoWarsLife.com, the results were incredible. Take the InfoWarsLife.com challenge today at InfoWarsLife.com or give our crew a call. They can answer all your questions or tell you about any of the specials at 888-253-3139.
From the makers of Block It Pocket, we bring you a serious message about the health risks associated with cell phones and wireless devices. Studies have shown that long-term exposure can contribute to an assortment of health risks. Block It Pocket offers you 2 new products designed to help alleviate your concerns. See these 2 remarkable products at blockitpocket.com. Call 888-315-9618. Free shipping to the lower 48. Blockitpocket.com. Enhancing health and privacy.
Measles is activating on a mass scale, now due to the vaccines and iron poisoning. All symptoms, disease, and deaths are due to measles and iron, not just rash and flu-like symptoms, as the officials claim. Measles requires a host with iron to replicate. Iron intake is at an unprecedented level. Deaths and hospitalizations are set to soar now in 2015. This is the extermination plan, people. For further information, go to unveilingthem.com. UNVEILING them.com. Unveilingthem.com.
Welcome back to the Alex Jones Show. I'm David Knight, and I'll be taking your calls this segment. We're going to try to get to Jerry, John, Omar, Daniel. If we can't make it through all you guys, we'll hang on. We'll take you into overdrive. And the last caller that we had was talking about a massive buildup of MRAPs, APCs, things like that on Highway 15, California, kind of heading from California out to Vegas. And as Joe Jennings was talking about, he says he's driven down that that highway many times because it's absolutely desolate. And if it's the route that I took from LA to Vegas, yeah, it is. There's nothing out there. So it's pretty interesting to see that clip. If that's the one that he was talking about, it seemed to be the one he was talking about. And of course, that's not too far from the area in Southern California that they showed as being part of the Jade Helm exercise. So we're going to go back to your calls in just one moment. But first, just want to let you know that we've got a sale right now of 50% off of InfoWars Silver Bullet. It's the biggest sale we've ever had, a Silver Bullet. Save about $15 off of this. It's $14.95, usually $29.95. And again, that's our concentrated colloidal silver, 30 parts per million. You can get that at InfoWarsLife.com. Of course, we also have specials on our water filters, 10% off all ProPure water filters with the promo code WATER right now at InfoWarsStore.com. And also My Patriot Supply. Don't forget emergency food supplies. You should always have that as a backup because you never know what's going to happen. It could be political, it could be economic, it could be some kind of a natural disaster. So always make sure that you've got clean water and food that you can feed your family. You can find that there and support the operation as you provide for your own at InfoWarsStore.com. Let's go to Jerry in L.A. I'm sorry, Louisiana. LA, but it's Louisiana. Jerry in Louisiana. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's Indiana. Sorry, we had that problem.
Okay. Indiana. Okay, go ahead.
But in southern Indiana, 30 miles north of Louisville, Kentucky, there is an HIV outbreak. Governor Pence has already stated that it's a state of emergency for that county. Now, they've erected a brand new fence around the National Guard that you cannot see through now. But if you get up on top of a building, you can look in there and you can see anti-personnel armament they're building up with sound cannons and water hoses. Now, the sheriff has leaked the information out that he's been taken out of power, that somebody's coming in and took him away from his desk.
Now, where is this? This is in Indiana. Tell me the city again.
Scottsburg, Scott County, Indiana.
Scottsburg.
Now, there was a story about it on AP yesterday, and today the story's gone.
Huh.
So it makes me think that they're blacking out the story.
Wow.
That was on the news I seen Friday. That's my old hometown. Well, 7 miles west in a town called Maryville, there's supposedly a church Christian camp, but it has a 20-foot fence around it that you can't see through. And they just built an airport there right inside that compound. I'll call it a compound because that's what it is. They've created a huge concrete structure and an underground. They're digging. I don't know what they're doing there, but they're digging, and there's an airport. Now, people have said that they're going to start marching the streets soon. It's already, the CDC says it's a state of emergency, and the governor has declared a state of emergency. So the people are saying that it's going to be martial law.
Did you say it was an HIV outbreak that they're saying?
HIV outbreak, yes. AIDS outbreak.
That's very unusual. That's very unusual.
29 cases this year.
Yeah, but still, I mean, that's not the sort of thing that's going to be so easily transmissible that they would set up some kind of a quarantine area.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And then supposedly FEMA's been going around house to house asking questions. You know, do you have clean needles and things like that? They shut down the needle bank.
Okay, we got it pulled up. Indiana governor extends public health emergency. Yeah, we see that there. We're going to have to take a look at that. Thank you for pointing that out. I hadn't seen that. Stay with us. We're going to come back in overdrive, try to get to Jerry, John, Omar, and Daniel as quickly as well as we can. We'll be right back.
This is GCN, the Genesis Communications Radio Network.
Used since before the days of the Roman Empire to support the body's natural systems. Introducing the new InfoWarsLife.com oil of oregano formulation. We have now procured the most high quality and potent forms of oregano oil on the market. Extracted directly from the wild herb and sealed in easy-to-use capsules. You will no longer need to endure the burning of liquid oregano on the tongue. Now available in our limited first run at InfoWarsLife.com. That's InfoWarsLife.com or call 888-253-3139. Alex Jones here. For the last 2 years, I've been working with top doctors, nutritionists, and chemists to design a nutraceutical formulation that has truly life-changing health benefits. Introducing the all-new Ancient Defense Herbal Immunity Blend. Experience the benefits of combining over 14 ancient herbs and extracts with exciting new advances in nutraceutical science. Visit InfoWarsLife.com or call 1-888-253-3139. That's InfoWarsLife.com.